Welcome to the 99th episode of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies Podcast.
That's like 66 upside down.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
So damn paranormal.
Yeah, fucking so damn-
Jesus fucking Christ. Do I look like Lexi?
My name is Jason Knight, host of the podcast. And with me this evening is
Oscar motherfucking Spectre.
Oscar MF Inspector, podcast co-host and producer extraordinaire.
Just producer.
Well, 99. Crazy.
Did you just do like a German 99? 99!
I did.
Nice.
It's like, no.
Right. Like 9 no's.
Because is it 9 no?
9. Yeah, 9 is no. Yeah.
No.
No.
Episode no. I got to come up with something for 100. We can't do Storm Area 51.
No.
And let me.
Apparently all the hotels are booked.
This is exactly right. So all the hotels have been booked for months.
Which is a good sign.
It's cool, but they're talking about, Nevada is talking about actually shutting down ET Highway. So you are not going to be able to travel down ET Highway because really there's no reason to, I guess. I mean, Rachel's way at the end of ET Highway, but that's it. There's nothing else there.
Yeah, there's nothing but the majesty of traveling to it. Like that, the being
beauty,
there
the
is
mystery, the beauty.
Right.
Yeah,
the
that's
road
about the only reason why
is
we
the
take it.
destination, which is a strange sentence.
Good. The road is the destination.
Yeah.
Perfect way to put it. So they're talking about closing it down from end to end. And if you don't live in Rachel, you're fucked. So I'm not getting, so there's no place to stay. They may shut the road down. So you're not even going to be able to get in. I can't justify flying there and having to fly back without any footage.
Right.
So we can't do Storm Area 51. But I am going to talk to my contacts out there.
I was going to say, people from Rachel, you can talk to them?
Remember Ken Langley, Agent 0051? When we sat in his house and interviewed him.
Yes.
And he lives like at area, pretty much on Area 51.
Right.
Right.
His backyard is Area 51.
His backyard is Area 51. We did an episode with him. Listeners, go back. I don't know the episode number. I'm not going to look it up
2 years
right
ago.
now. But it was a great episode. Ken Langley was the quote unquote expert that everyone seeks out in that area of the world to talk about and give his opinions.
Yeah,
on
he didn't like my
aliens
mic
and
stand.
UFOs. No, he didn't.
No, he did not.
But really cool guy. Great stories. And of course, we did an episode at the Lil Alien, the only watering hole, the only bar in like 100 miles.
Yeah, that old
all the
lady. I
Area 51
only talked to the
people
old
come in.
lady, I remember.
Connie, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Connie
I'm
was her daughter.
terrible with names.
Ooh, I should have been prepared for this. I forgot the owner's name. God bless.
Not a big deal.
Anyway, listeners, go back and check those out. So, but we do got to find something to do for the 100th episode.
Right.
I'm not promising it'll release on 100. Help me say this, because like with
What do you mean
travel
it'll release on 100?
Because I want to go somewhere for the 100th episode. Because of travel schedules and time, it might not release exactly in 2 weeks from today.
Oh, I see.
So how do I? What would you?
I don't know, man.
Maybe play a rerun of a popular episode for 100. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. Listeners, it's all going to tie up to travel schedules and calendars and events in our lives. But
Okay.
we will do something special for 100.
Okay. I mean, if you're asking me to figure something out, maybe that's best.
Off air.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Off-air brainstorming session, because I
No.
don't know.
I know. I've just been too busy to really put something together, but we will. We will.
Have you ever not been busy?
Not since I was like 15.
Yeah. Sounds right.
Anything new with you?
We're planning, Lexi and I are planning our Halloween costumes.
You're planning your Halloween costumes?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, it is coming up.
It is coming up. She starts talking about it when she starts feeling colder.
Okay.
And also,
So what are you guys thinking?
Also, unfortunately, the pumpkin spice latte is fucking out already. It's fucking out already, Jay.
The pumpkin spice lattes at Starbucks are out already.
Yeah, they're out like ridiculously earlier than usual.
Oh, so it usually comes out later.
It usually comes out in September. Well, initially it was just October, I think. And then for the longest time, I guess recently it's been September. But every time, every year they bring it like slightly inching closer. Now it's late August.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, people like that pumpkin shit. I don't get it. I don't get into it.
I literally saw a few customers I hadn't seen in a while because I get a lot of regulars, right? So you just know roughly, facially, what everyone is. Yeah. And there's one girl, what am I talking about? Young ass girl. Bounces up to the fucking front. I'm like, you're here for the pumpkin spice. They're like, how did you know? I'm like, because I've never seen you before. I see you once a year, don't I? You only hear in this time of year.
You can smell them coming a mile away.
Yeah, I can smell them. Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, pumpkin. I don't get into the pumpkin stuff.
I tried it. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't either. I like pumpkin pie.
I keep making jokes where like, oh, it's made out of meth. That's why you love it so much.
Right, they put a little heroin in there. I'll get down on some pumpkin pie. I'll destroy a pumpkin pie, but pumpkin drinks and things, pumpkin candles, I don't like it.
It's white catnip, man.
White cat.
Yeah.
White people catnip.
White nip.
White. Mm-hmm. Is that racist or I'm not sure.
I don't give a shit. They're white. I'm sure. I'm glad. I hope it is. Yeah. But you were asking Halloween. Sorry.
Yeah. So what are you guys thinking of doing for Halloween? What are your costumes going to be?
So So last year we went as Overwatch characters, which I will not bore you too much because I know you're not an Overwatch player.
Right. Okay.
But it's a famous shooter.
Would our listeners play Overwatch?
Some of them do, for sure.
Okay.
And if you're a Hanzo main, I hate you.
Wait.
They understand that.
Say it again.
If they're a Hanzo main.
Hanzo main.
Yeah. I hate them.
Is it a food dish?
Nice. Hanzo is a character in the game. You could play as one of 15 to 20 characters, roughly.
Yeah.
And Hanzo, main means a person you play mainly as.
Okay.
And Hanzo is one of the characters' names.
And you don't like this?
No, because a person that's Hanzo main typically is the worst person of the team. And always the one that picks the wrong character, like the anti the team.
Oh, okay.
Whatever we need to win the game.
They won't do.
Most likely a Hanzo will not be it. Some of them are really great Hanzos.
They're rogue.
But most likely they're not.
Okay.
I
don't think
it's just a joke. I mean, I don't know why you made me explain it. I didn't want to explain it.
I wanted to know.
Why?
Because I'm hungry and
you barely understand TikTok or what apps are.
Don't get me started.
What am I gonna like do here? Show you the game and bring my PS4?
We could pause the show and go play some Overwatch.
I would love to play with you. We haven't played a game in forever.
No.
I used to play Dead Space for you because you were so afraid to play it.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Because I was afraid to
You were afraid to play it and to mess up, yeah. I was like, Jesus, Jay, just play the game.
Okay, so
last year we were as Overwatch characters. She was saying we should do that again this year. And just pick different characters. And I'm like, no, because I really want to do it. I almost said yes, but like the reason I said no is because it's kind of too late. I know you think it's early enough. Yeah. It's too late because I want to get like specific custom shit. I want to get the weapons that are accurate.
Damn, dude.
I want to get because last year I picked Reaper, which is an easy character to be, and I got like this there's a name for it. 3D model printed weapons.
Holy shit.
Of this guy's character's weapons, right? And I just got that. The rest I had to get by myself here and there. And it looked pretty good.
Wow.
And the weapons were stellar. I painted it myself. It was great.
You have pictures of this?
I do. I can show you.
Maybe you should send it to us. We could put it on our Instagram.
Oh, yeah, I can. But it's on my Facebook, too. But I can send them to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have, though. That's what we did last year. And for the next one, if I do Overwatch again, which I'll probably pick a more intricate character with more stuff on them, like machine stuff or whatever, I want to go more all out. But I want more time for that. I also mentioned that can become a little expensive. For a costume. Okay. So I want to plan more for it. So I told her, let's do something from Legion. Have you seen that show?
No.
Have you heard of it?
No.
You suck. Don't worry. No one's seen that show, so don't worry about it.
Okay.
Only like 300,000 people saw that show this year. Legion had its third and final season. It ended. And then it didn't end because it got canceled. It ended because the story was finished.
Okay.
And it's this amazing superhero show that no one's talking about. Legion is on FX.
Is it like The Boys?
It's way better than The Boys, but it is like The Boys in that it is completely unlike any other supernatural thing you've ever seen.
Okay.
And it's even more unlike anything that The Boys has. Way more unlike that.
Wow.
It's so unique. Like,
shit, I want to see this.
It's so bad. It's so Legion is a side comic book, roughly. I'm not 100% on the comic book lore, so if I get mistakes, people, don't send me emails.
Right.
Or don't send Jay.
ChicagosPodcast.com.
Right. Don't send Jay emails. Essentially, is that Legion is the main character's name, this guy named David Haller, who is technically Xavier's son from the Professor X. Yes.
Oh.
And he has the crazy powers of Xavier's mental, psychic stuff. And he has telekinesis as well.
Ooh.
He's actually give or take, the most powerful mutant on Earth when he's like grown up.
What?
And Legion is about him basically seeing himself as eventually Legion, which is hard to explain without you watching the show. But it's about how this kid, this guy named David, he's in this psychiatric hospital for mentally ill patients, and he thinks he's schizophrenic. For a long time, he's also he's a drug addict. He's a lot of things. He's an abuser. He grew up horribly, and what we realized in the very first season is that he has a parasite in him that's feeding off his powers, these awesome abilities that he thinks he doesn't have, but he actually does, and releases them in weird ways. And then it goes from there, essentially. And it involves, at some point, it involves time travel. It involves multiple mutants of different types, fighting him, right? But it isn't at all what you think of. It's like everything looks like a retro 60s, 70s outfitted, but still in the future set kind of like world setting. Everything is quirky. Everything is shown like much more stylish than you've ever seen.
Wow.
It's hard to explain, but the wardrobe in the show is amazing.
So here comes the costume
right.
you want to do. Okay.
The wardrobe is amazing. I know I want to be David. I just don't know which David, because he changes like 70 costumes per season, and I don't even, like, some of them are just like normal shirts, but like, do I want to be evil David, where like he has that shirt on with the triangle on it when he like vaporizing people midair, or do I want to be David in the psychiatric hospital, because that jumpsuit looks badass and kind of like 70s retro, and I don't know. So we're kind of to find out where we can find these things.
So much thought into this.
Yeah.
I just throw on a flannel and say I'm a Nirvana fan.
Oh, I bet.
That's all I do.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I can't wait to see how this comes out.
Well, my laziest costume was in my mid-20s. I dressed up as I should say, I put in my wedding, not tux, but like my wedding suit. When I go to weddings, I put the same suit.
Okay, yeah.
And and when people ask, "Oh, what are you?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm like a successful version of me." That was my laziest costume.
Snorted.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
so I've been lazy too.
Yeah, I haven't even thought about it, unfortunately.
Well, Lexi and I like doing a couple thing on that.
Yeah.
So like, go all out, might as well.
Oh, that's great.
And she wants to be one of the Lenny, another character in the show.
Nice.
So yeah.
Well, or could listeners send in ideas for you guys to be?
Oh man, please.
There you go.
That'd be kind of cool.
Contact at chicagospodcast.com.
Oh, if you want to actually help me, something that will actually go through and helping me is finding out like a good place to find out where I can find clothes from Legion, because it's so hard. Oh. I mean, I just did cursory stuff yesterday. We just thought about this yesterday. And it's hard to find, like, pinpoint where could I find these yellow socks or that, purple tie that they're wearing in the scene. Like, I'm trying to find where I can find this stuff. But
the request for help has been submitted.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see if the listeners can come up with it.
If you're a Legion fan and you're out there and you're listening to me right now, we should band together, because there's not many of us.
Well, how would you do that?
I don't know.
You put it out there.
Talk to Jay on Instagram, and
Wait a minute, how did I get tracked into this nonsense?
SOS show. And then you tell me, like, oh, Oscar, someone's bothering me about legioning. And I'm like, all right, cool. Send me their info, and I'll.
If I get flooded with emails that I have to answer because I'm OCD and cannot leave an email unanswered,
nice.
I'm going to kill you.
You'll kill yourself, because you'll be answering all of them, so it'll be fine.
I won't kill you. I love you.
Yeah.
Cool.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling a little more chipper this episode. I was kind of I wasn't in my zone in the last episode.
Yeah, I mean,
a couple people commented on that. I was fine. I guess maybe I was just tired. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we are. I'm always out of work and I have to drive here. Like, I'm always just, I have to like work my way into it. You know what I mean?
You really do. You don't just jump on the mics and
right.
roll.
It doesn't just happen. But for some people, it does happen. Sometimes I can do it just happening. Other times I can't. So it's just really mood.
I was good. I guess I just wasn't in the zone. So if that came across in the first Zodiac episode, listeners, I do apologize.
Yeah. We'll try to make up for it.
Yes.
Right, this time.
So I'm going to be now wacky and zany.
Right.
And
yeah.
No, I'm not.
Now I hate you.
That's really not my personality.
You've
either.
never done that before. But you did want to talk about something that you stopped me before we started recording officially. You said, like, no, save it for the show.
Oh.
It was my question about your peanut butter and jelly mead.
Oh, right.
You said save it for the show. I'm like, okay. He's like, you have nothing to talk about. Save it for the show. I'm like, okay.
My hardest part is the intros, is coming up with just,
I just gave
cool
you like
stuff
5 to
to talk
10 minutes
about,
right there.
so listeners get to know who we are and
Right, yeah.
the insight into our lives, a little window into our lives. But so I brought down a
I would say it's like a peeping Tom hole.
Yes.
Of our lives.
It's a glory hole into our lives.
Nice. Thank you. I didn't want to go there.
Take that however you want, listeners. But so I came down with this big old glass bottle filled with water. I'm drinking water right now. And it was originally filled with peanut butter and jelly mead. Mead is this sweet sort of honey wine.
I love it. I love it.
Used to drink. I actually have a horn that I drink my mead out of, given to me by Minister Sal, who's been on this show before. So I drink mead from a horn, and I'll just stop right now. I'm a fucking Viking at that point.
Horn, that's a phallic looking thing.
Yes.
You keep going.
So I was explaining to you that this mead truly tasted like you were eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And it was probably one of the best meads I've ever had. And
then I said...
And then you asked me if it ever weirds me out that things that shouldn't taste like things taste like things.
Yeah, I didn't say it like that. That make me sound fucking stupid. You make me sound like, Daddy, what's the color? Like some stupid shit. No.
Go ahead.
What I'm trying to say is that how can you trust something that tastes like something completely different texture, different way to make, different ingredients? How do you trust something that tastes like that? That's from something else, like a different source. It's like if you drink tap water and it tastes like cherry pie. Will you trust it? Would you continue drinking that water? Even though it tastes like the best cherry pie you ever had?
Right, because water's not supposed to taste like cherry pie.
Well, mead. Let me tell you a story. Thanks for setting me up. But
I guess you just, when I put that to my lips, I knew all was right with the world. Oh, yeah. I knew all was right with the world. That didn't bother me at all.
Okay. No, I mean, we do it all the time with our vapes. They put something in here. This tastes like bubble gum. It shouldn't taste like bubble gum, but it does.
Yes.
Actually, it tastes like bubble gum cough syrup, like cough medicine.
Oh, yeah.
You know what they do it for kids?
Yeah.
Wait.
My kids love that shit.
Yeah.
Bubble gum? Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah,
and I love it.
No, I guess I never thought about that.
Don't you like?
Thought about that.
I kind of have that feeling sometimes. Like I don't trust this weird thing that shouldn't taste like this.
Well, what about people who eat food that you love and they fucking find it absolutely repulsive? It's the same fucking taste.
What do you mean?
It's the same thing. So, salmon. I love salmon. Good salmon. I love it.
Who wants rotting salmon?
Yeah. Katie, you think you're killing her firstborn if she eats salmon because it's so bad to her. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, but
it has the same
you
vitamins and minerals.
But if she eats the same salmon,
and
to her, it doesn't then taste like shrimp. You know?
But it can't because it's salmon.
That's my point. This is meat. No, that's not what I'm asking. How do you trust something to taste like something it shouldn't?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I get. It's a good question.
That's just your taste buds about the salmon. I mean, it's just the way it goes. I hate some stuff too.
But to me, that never made sense because
like asparagus, I hate asparagus. I hate olives. I hate a lot of things.
It should be delicious across the board. If something is horrible,
well, if it was,
it should be horrible across the board.
The problem, I'm so glad that world is like that because then salmon. Let's say salmon is. Am I saying it right? Salmon? Salmon?
I say salmon. It's spelled with an L.
I know, but I say the L.
I think some people do say salmon.
Salmon.
I say salmon.
I don't know. It must be my Mexican.
It's the fucking salmon. Holy shit, Jay.
Anyway, wow. You did a whole thing. Take salmon. You love it. Let's say if everyone is what you say across the board, everyone's taste buds react the same way to salmon the way you do. Then wouldn't salmon be like extremely expensive / nowhere to be found?
Yeah, you're right.
Because everyone won't be this.
It
right?
would be, right.
Right.
So is that God's or the creators or whatever you believe's way of keeping shit in check?
I mean, I wouldn't go there, but I would say that we're all different enough to where that's a variety, you know?
Look at that. Life lessons.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that helped my original question. I don't think that helped my original question
you away from the
or concern at all because that's freaking me out right now.
Yeah, well, I'll try to get another bottle of the peanut butter mead and let you try it. But listeners, it's Superstition Meadery, If any of our listeners enjoy mead, the peanut butter jelly by Superstition Meadery is fantastic.
I am digging mead, though. You got me into mead hardcore. I'm loving it.
We have a party here tomorrow.
Tomorrow, I'm having a thing.
Why is your phone on?
Tomorrow, I'm having a thing, too. Maybe I'll go get some mead, pick up some mead.
What are you having?
Well, fuck it. Fourth wall broken. I'm having...
Oh, yeah, we just broke the fourth wall.
I mean, I did.
We did, didn't we?
I didn't watch it ask me.
Shit.
Should we continue? We haven't broken it yet.
No, we can leave it. Let's leave it. We won't break the fourth wall.
Okay.
We'll get back into our 3D, our third dimension. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm saying.
Don't hurt yourself.
I'm sorry. Zodiac.
Okay, let's get into the, where they can find us and shit.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Find us and shit on ChicagoGhostPodcast.com.
You remembered.
Click on follow.
Not follow.
And once you click on... He'll never let me live that down. Once you click on follow, you can find our Instagram, our Facebook, our YouTube, our Patreon, our Twitter, all of our social accounts. We love to hear from our listeners. Tell us your thoughts. Tell us your stories. Tell us to go fuck ourselves. Tell us you love us. We just like hearing from you. And speaking of Patreon, listeners, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Supernatural Occurrence Studies Podcast, or just go to the website.
//
We have a lot of great benefits for our patrons, including ad-free podcasts, stickers, Patreon-only audio and video content. These are bits of the Supernatural Occurrence Studies podcast that you won't find on our normal podcast feed or on our YouTube channel. All for as little as 17 cents a day. You could have all that great stuff. We racked up our first Patreon a few weeks ago. We love her for that. You remember those firsts. Your first kiss.
I don't remember my first kiss.
Your first sexual encounter.
I barely remember that.
Your first child being born and your first patron. I'll also remember our 1,000th patron. So listeners, give me something to look forward to.
No, you can't save it. You can't save that. You kind of made it seem like you'll only remember your first.
I tried to save it.
Anyway, but before we continue on so far, I mentioned the Funko guy to, what's his name, right? The Japanese dude? Junko.
Oh, we're going to talk about this?
No. We're not going to talk about it. But I'm saying I mentioned that to a coworker yesterday.
Yes.
And she was like, oh, great. Where can I hear this episode? I told her, not the details because I don't remember everything, but I told her how messed up it is.
Oh, yeah.
And everything that happened roughly, in broad terms, right? And he's like, oh my God, when is it going to do? So we're like, nope, it's for Patreon listeners.
Good.
And then she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, first of all, we haven't recorded yet, but secondly, it's not, you got to pay, bitch.
That's right. You got to pay, bitch. Oscar, we got to keep and retain and acquire listeners.
She's a coworker. She can handle it.
Okay. So what Oscar is referring to?
Is this for you, Sarah? She probably listens as well.
Hey, Sarah.
I told her to listen to the Zodiac. Thank you for listening. I don't know if she will. If you know what, Sarah, if you did listen to us, come up to me and slap me in the face. That'll let me know that you listened to it because I don't believe you when you say you listen to my show. Now, continuing. She really wanted to hear oh, come on, tell me about it. Like, nope, fucking go on Patreon. And he's like, can I just get a free streaming thing? Don't you have access? She's like, I don't even have access.
This is true.
Which I don't have the ad-free shit.
No, you don't.
I mean, I have the original shit, but I don't have it streaming to me anywhere.
Yes.
So, I actually don't know how to get that. But yeah.
Yeah, and what Oscar's referring to is a podcast that we are going to be recording strictly for Patreon, for our Tier 2 and Tier 3 patrons, about a horrible, horrible, horrible murder case out of Japan that happened in the early 80s. I'm stretching my memory to research here. It's not recorded yet. It's coming out very soon. Well, actually, by the time this episode releases, it may be up there on Patreon. It should, because our one patron is expecting it. So that phone is really loud. I'm just saying,
dude. Okay, there is no.
I'm just saying it's
there's no vibrations. I mean, vibrations.
What the fuck did you say?
I said vibrations.
And you make fun of me saying flalo?
No, I did it on purpose.
Oh.
Like ribbit.
Oh, gotcha.
I do it on purpose.
Oh,
flower. But in order to just crack it open, it has to make that noise.
Yeah, it's really.
And Lexi just woke up. She's sick.
Oh,
so she just woke up from her slumber of
Sleep somewhere.
endless.
Sick sleep somewhere. Yes.
Yeah.
Sick
So
slumber.
she's feeling horrible.
Sorry to hear. Dude, a lot of people are getting sick lately. Fuck.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
I better not get sick. I got a lot to do next week. So back to Junko. Yes. Horrible episode. Recording for Patreon. May be out by this.
No, a
release.
terrific episode about a horrible guy.
It's a girl.
Sorry. Well, I know that. I meant,
Yes. Should we edit that out?
no.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, enough about Patreon. Twitter, Instagram, at Chicago Ghosts. At Chicago Ghosts. I do want to mention a couple things on Instagram. I'm usually on Instagram posting weird things. Hey, Lars Electric. Hey, Lars Electric from Instagram. I stumbled there.
No, you said it twice. I almost thought I was having my own time warp thing.
I know, because yeah.
Okay.
Nope, I said it twice.
Good.
So, sup, Lars. Near Dusk 1 on Instagram commented, quote, "Love your Manson podcasts. Living in L.A., of course, I knew of them, but never really heard the whole story. I appreciate the work you put into researching it all, hearing possible theories on it, and, of course, telling me the story. You guys are awesome. Thank you." So, Near Dusk 1, thank you very much for the awesome comment. Please share the love with all your friends and family. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And again, what's up to Lars Electric? Facebook, at Chicago Ghost Podcast on Facebook.
SOSP.
Call us or text us at Chicago area code 872-529-0767. That's 872-529-0767.
That's Shalala, Wisconsin, right?
Nope, it's Gold Coast, Chicago.
I'm pretty sure it's not that. I don't know about that. I should make a list of crazy town names.
ChicagoSpodcast.com. I think I got everything.
I think so, too.
Right? YouTube. Supernatural Current Studies on YouTube. While you're there.
26-minute mark, guys.
Just ring the bell, subscribe. All right, let's just go to break.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you self-conscious. You do you, bro.
Let's hear from a sponsor or something.
All right.
Welcome back to the show. Well, the lights are turned down low. The drinks are flowing. And the ceremonial candle is lit. Let's start this show.
San Francisco was terrorized in the late 60s and early 70s by a man who called himself the Zodiac Killer. He claimed 37 murders. Police confirmed at least 6. 4 years ago, the killing stopped, and so did Zodiac's letter. Now there's another letter. For that, Tom Shell.
San Francisco police displayed a blackboard with excerpts of the latest Zodiac letter at a news conference last night. Police are convinced it's authentic. Deputy San Francisco Police Chief Clem D'Amicus said it's the 16th letter received from the Zodiac Killer and the first since 1974.
So, before we begin the actual topic, this is a part 2, listeners. You got to go back and listen to episode 98. I'm going to make a lot of references in this episode.
Yeah, who's skipping episodes?
I don't know. I'm just saying.
I have an OCD about that. I hate skipping episodes.
I do too.
So that's just me personally. But I'm sure there are people that would. Don't skip episodes.
Don't skip episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So
not with us.
Definitely go back to 98 so you're all caught up on things we're going to reference here in episode 99, Zodiac Killer Part 2. Now, in this episode, we're going to take a closer look at the Zodiac ciphers, or the Zodiac codes. Remember, in the last episode, we mentioned how the Zodiac sent a number of coded messages, or ciphers, to various San Francisco newspapers while he was killing in the California Bay Area. We're also going to take a look at a few possible Zodiac murders. Remember, he's only confirmed to have killed 5, wounded 2, but the Zodiac claims he's killed 37.
Also, you gotta remember, too, I didn't mention this on that show, actually, how he could have killed someone that he would normally boast of, but maybe, like, it's someone too close to get to him. Or something with, something that could, like, if it's, like, combined with the Zodiac murders, like, if he actually said, like, oh, this to the newspaper, that I killed this person, that it might, like, actually create, like, a certain trend or find him.
Yeah.
Like, how many, because he probably killed people he knew at some point, ideally, or at least has had like problems with people he knew, right?
I would say that's probably
coworkers,
safe to say.
or like friends
Neighbors
of family
or
or
something,
neighbors, right? Anyway, I just thought of that now. Maybe that could be one of the reasons why he never like boasted certain others.
It could be.
If he did.
Oh, that's a good point.
Anyway, sorry.
No, that's good. So, there's been crimes associated with the Zodiac, but just not officially. So we'll take a look at a few of those. And finally, in this episode, we'll discuss 2 theories concerning possible Zodiac suspects. So let's begin this episode by taking a closer look at the Zodiac ciphers. In his ciphers, the Zodiac used a very strange alphabet, a series of symbols, to try and get his deranged messages across to his public. While symbolic codes have been used for centuries, there's even a long-established code system called the Zodiac alphabet. None of the established system of codes come close enough to the system the Zodiac used to be called a match. Sure, there's some similarities, but not a match.
Seems like a mix and match version.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah, I've seen it before.
So it's probably safe to say that the Zodiac was inspired by more popular methods of coding, and that's it. From there, the ciphers were his own doing. And be sure to check the episode show notes, because I do include images of these ciphers in the show notes so listeners could see exactly what the Zodiac was doing. So let's start with the Z408 cipher. Now, as I said, there's a link to this cipher in the show notes so you can see what it looks like in its entirety. The Z408 cipher was the Zodiac's longest cipher, containing 408 characters, hence the name Z408, Zodiac 408 characters. And it's the first cipher the Zodiac sent to San Francisco newspapers. Postmarked July 31st, 1969. The Z408 cipher had 3 parts, and each part was sent to 3 different newspapers on the same day: the Vallejo Times-Herald, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the San Francisco Examiner, along with 3 accompanying handwritten letters. In the letters, the Zodiac said he would kill again if his ciphers weren't published. They were. We talked about this in the last episode.
Do you think Z, something calling them, for example, like Z408, you said?
Z408, yeah.
Is that like a cataloging typical thing they do? It seems like a one of those library cataloging system things, right?
So I don't know if that was the police cataloging. It is a way to reference very specific things the Zodiac did.
Right.
I just don't know if it was done by the police or if it was done by amateur code breakers and sleuths later on in history who've been trying to break this stuff.
Gotcha. Okay, I was just curious if that's a common usage of like
totally a system of catalog.
Right. I mean,
because he was so prolific.
Right. Yeah. He did so many. Right.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, good question. The Z408 cipher consisted of random symbols corresponding to a plain text message. And although seemingly impossible to break, it turns out the code was a homophonic, simple substitution cipher. In a basic simple substitution cipher, each ciphertext, or symbol, corresponds to a single plain text letter. However, in a homophonic substitution cipher, more than one symbol could correspond to a plain text letter. This may seem extremely difficult, but historically speaking, this cipher was far easier to crack than anyone expected.
Yep.
Now, the Zodiac thought he was big and bad sending this seemingly unbreakable code, but it took only a week for a school teacher named Donald Hardin and his wife, Betty, to crack the code. And actually, Betty is credited with finding the pattern needed to solve the message. The FBI, who also supposedly independently cracked the Z408 code, corroborated the Harding's findings. And the crack was legit. Now, the way Betty Harding cracked the code was by discovering patterns in the code. Then she plugged in letters that might fit. After analyzing the text, she noticed certain symbols appeared more frequently than others. For example, there were a high number of double syllables found in the code.
Yep.
In frequency analysis, the letter L is doubled most frequently in the English language. And because the codes came from a serial killer, Betty figured that the double letter L must be preceded by an I, making ill,
And then K.
which logically would equal kill. In cryptography terms, or the art of code breaking, Betty's word kill served as what's called a crib, a word or phrase that once found can be plugged into other sections of the code to determine other phrases, which ultimately leads to a quick unraveling of the code. This was true of the Zodiac's Z408 code. Inspired by the killer's obvious craving for attention, Betty guessed that the message would begin with the word I, as in me, I. She also believed the word kill, or killing, or even the phrase I like killing would appear somewhere in the message. And she was right. And from there, the Z408 code opened up. Even though there were a few misspellings, the Zodiac's message was clear. Overall, the message contained rambling thoughts on the Zodiac's crimes and possibly a motive, but nothing regarding his identity, like he said in his letter to the San Francisco Chronicle. His words in that letter were, quote, "In this cipher is my identity," end quote. But it wasn't. Maybe. You see, the only thing with the Z408 cipher is at the bottom of the cipher, there are 18 symbols that still remain unsolved. And people believe that 18 symbols may contain the killer's identity, as he promised in his letter. To this day, no one has been able to crack it, and hopefully one day, someone breaks those 18 symbols. Now, just so you know, those mysterious 18 symbols in plain text, according to the Hardings and verified by the FBI, are as follows. And I'm going to lay it out here. Listeners,
Yep.
write it down. Maybe you could crack it. E, B, E, O, R, I, E, T, E, M, E, T, H, H, P, I, T, I. If you want to try your chance at cracking this, just reverse the podcast about 20 seconds and listen again, write those down. Now, a couple things about these letters. Cryptanalysts believe that the seemingly random string of letters are just fillers to keep the length of the code equal when broken into 3 separate parts, that they don't have a meaning at all. Remember, the Zodiac broke this entire 408 cipher into 3 parts, so to keep it even...
That's what I thought.
...and looking nice, he added this bullshit.
That's still my thinking on that.
Others believe that the letters can be rearranged to reveal the Zodiac's identity. And just so you know, mathematically speaking, the 18 letters can be rearranged to make 715,475,200 different words. So it's basically impossible to decode. So, is it real or is it a ruse, like the filler?
But
You decide.
But we also know, here's the thing. You probably could eliminate like $5 words because he never used them. He seems to write plain spoken.
What do you mean by $5 words?
I just mean like he probably didn't have like an elaborate, like a crazy fancy or long word or word that most people don't use regularly, right? In those spare change
Those 18
letters,
letters, yeah.
characters, right? So assuming that, which is still an assumption, granted, most likely it's a combination of things. Simply, if you could spell like, you could spell it, you can spell or, right? Because all these things can be spelled in those letters.
Yeah.
And B or bore, you could spell a lot of those things. If you try to combine them, maybe the combination is what is impossible. to see if he's actually trying to say something. But I've always held the original thing what you said earlier about he just wanted to make it look symmetrical.
That's your take on it?
Yeah, because it's just like he would never put his identity. I think it's just a way to like get people interested in cracking it
and keep going with his with his game.
It goes with his ego. I don't think he ever was going to reveal
Fair
his
enough.
identity. You know,
Fair enough. But I just thought the mathematical
cut to someone breaking it. I'm like, oh fuck, I was
right. One of our listeners. Hey, I hope you guys do.
Yeah.
But I really thought what was interesting was the mathematical possibilities of those 18 characters, the billions of words it could make. It's crazy. So you're probably wondering, what did the Z408 cipher actually say? The Hardings cracked it. So what did it say? The portion of the code that was cracked by the Hardins, I said Hardings. I used to live on Harding.
Yeah, you did.
And corroborated by the FBI read, quote, I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all to kill. Something gives me the most thrilling experience. It is even better than getting your rocks off with a girl. The best part of it is that when I die, I will be reborn in paradise, and all the people I have killed will become my slaves. I will not give you my name because you will try to slow down or stop my collecting of slaves for my afterlife. End quote. And when I mentioned a possible motive, pay attention when the Zodiac says he's collecting slaves for his afterlife. We talked about this in the last episode, as this concept is repeated in a few of his later letters. Again, listen to the last episode for more details on that. So that's Z408. Next is what's known as the Zodiac's Z340 cipher, or also called the Dripping Pen cipher. There's a link to this cipher in the show notes, too. Check it out. Try to crack it. This is the cipher that was sent in an envelope to the San Francisco Chronicle, postmarked November 8, 1969, and along with it, the Zodiac included a piece of murdered cab driver Paul Stein's bloody shirt.
Yep.
The letter and the Z340 cipher were inside a greeting card, which on the front featured a calligraphy-style pen hanging from a rope and dripping ink or water. Or maybe it was meant to symbolize dripping blood. Who knows?
Yeah.
There was a caption on the card that read, "Sorry I haven't written, but I had to wash my pen." Hence the name, the Dripping Pen cipher. To this day, no one has been able to crack the Z340 and have it validated by independent sources. No one. Some of the best cryptographers in the world have tried, but to no avail.
It's probably like giving it to, when you think of cryptography school, I don't know how that works, but if there's a school, I'm sure there is, to
Cryptography?
mathematicians.
Oh, absolutely.
Like they must get this like as a homework assignment,
Yeah.
right?
You know what?
Every
I bet
year,
you're right.
right?
This is
Like,
probably staple like homework or
it's like the
textbook stuff.
equivalent of like reading the Shawshank Redemption in film school or something, because that's a really great script.
Yeah.
Where it was been structurally is amazing, and it's like one of those like you just it's forever there. It's going to be always studied, you know.
Yeah.
So like maybe that's what it is.
I bet you're right, and that's a great point. Now, I said no one, period, has been able to crack and have it validated by others. So sure, some people have claimed to have come up with a solution.
Of course.
But those solutions have been called into serious question. Experts saying that the codebreaker's own biases and beliefs about the Zodiac slant their results, and therefore the results can't be trusted and cannot be validated. It's like the codebreakers forced the code to break in such a way that the solution would support their theories on the Zodiac. Cryptology experts agree that the Z340 cipher is one of the most difficult codes to crack in history.
Yeah.
You good?
I mean, are we moving from this code?
No,
right now?
I got a whole bunch about it.
Okay, then keep going.
Okay. So let's talk about just one example of someone who supposedly broke the Z340 cipher. In 2007, a man by the name of Corey Starlipper, or it could be Starlipier, not sure,
Ouch.
a hobbyist codebreaker, claimed to have recognized the Z340 cipher as partly a Caesar shift cipher and partly a reverse Caesar shift cipher, or ciphers where each plain text letter is shifted 3 letters down in the alphabet in one direction or the other. In order to apply this shift method, Starlipper first converted each of the zodiac symbol into a Latin letter, even though the zodiac displayed no knowledge of Latin in any of his correspondences with the newspapers. This fact led authorities to believe Starlipper's method is unreliable and possibly slanted, either intentionally or unintentionally, to fit his belief that a man named Lee Allen was the Zodiac, a theory floating around since the late 70s. Anyway, Starlipper's decoding revealed a number of English phrases, but few full sentences. And here's Starlipper's cracked Z340 code in its entirety. Quote. So, how do I do this? So some of the...
Can we do it for you?
No, it's like... Because they're not real... Some of them aren't real words, so do I spell those? Do I just say it how I think it's meant?
Try to say it phonetically first, and then you could go re-say it, and then like whatever doesn't sound like words, spell it out.
Okay.
Maybe that'll be better for our audience.
Okay. So quote, right? Kill, SLF, DR, help me kill myself, gas chamber. I don't know what this word is. AEIOUR. Ayur. Is it French? Is it just? Yeah.
It could be Greek.
AEIOUR.
There's a word in Greek called ALIS, which has almost every single one of those except for the R. And it's like Greek for ALIS. Like it's ALIS is a name.
So you think that might be Greek?
Air. I'm just saying. It
or Latin? I mean,
or Latin.
Starlipper was cracking with Latin.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No. Yeah, so, okay, kill. So, starting from the beginning, quote, kill, SLF, DR, help me kill myself, gas chamber, Aur, days, questionable, very, walking moment, shit, waking moment, I'm alive, my pride lost, I can't go on living in this way, killing people, I have killed so many people, can't help myself, I'm so angry. It's the way I have it, where the paragraph broke.
Yeah.
I could do my thing. I'm alone in this world. My whole life full o' lies. I'm unable to stop. By the time you solve this, I will have killed 11 people. Please help me stop killing people. Please. My name is Lee Allen. End quote. So there's some words in here, like the second word, SLF, self, kill self, right? DR, doctor, right? Kill SLF, DR, kill self, doctor, help me kill myself, gas chamber, or whatever.
Avery? He mentions the...
A-E-I-O...
I'm not Paul Avery.
I-O-U-R. No, my name is Lee Allen at the end.
No, but in the middle. Avery? It's Avery, right? Like Avery, kill like the writer?
Living in this way, killing people. Okay, I don't know. I don't think so.
That's what struck up on me.
Should I do that? Should I run through it again, or is that enough?
No, that's okay.
That's good. Okay. So again, some of these words like self.
Lee Allen, though, that's a big fucking.
Yes.
That's a fucking.
We're gonna get into this, for sure. So okay, I'm gonna stop. My OCD is too much. So that's what the Z340 code, according to Starlipper, said.
Yeah.
Okay. Using the Caesar shifting cipher decoding method.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, like you said, notice at the end, my name is Lee Allen. Now, Lee Allen was a strong lead as being the Zodiac for decades. We'll get into Lee Allen here in a bit. So the question remains, is Starlipper's decoded message legit? Or is it slanted?
Mm-hmm.
We don't know.
And the book?
Never been corroborated.
Had been out by then?
The what?
Had the book been out by then? The famous Zodiac book?
Oh, yeah, this is 2007.
No, I'm saying, I wasn't sure because I know the book.
Well, I mean, there's a number of books.
I know, but the one that
You would have to look it up.
Sorry, not a big deal.
No,
I'm pretty sure Lee Allen was floated around.
Let's just say by 2007, tons of books, documentaries.
Right. You're right.
I'm not sure when Jake Gyllenhaal's Zodiac came out. That might have been out already in 2007.
I think so, maybe.
Tons of
yeah.
So you see how they're saying now your shit might be slanted to fit your beliefs.
Yeah, but also
you cracked it to fit what you want it to say.
But also, we say a lot about what could be actual, just plain-faced truth. Like maybe he just didn't know. You know what I mean? Like,
you're right.
Because we don't want to. You know, it's like, well, you could. You know, what I mean, like it's like, but a lot of people are really easy not to believe something achievable, right? Something that could be discovered.
Yeah.
So it could go either way. You're right.
That's what's so
malleable.
Cool about this story is you can interpret it any way you want.
Very malleable.
Yeah, very malleable. Good. Yeah. Okay. Then there's the Zodiac cipher known as the Z13 cipher. If you remember from the last episode, in a letter to the San Francisco Chronicle postmarked April 20th, 1970, the Zodiac included a 13-symbol cipher and a diagram of a bomb designed to kill school children on a bus. This is the letter with the clear reference to the Beatles' Yellow Submarine movie, where the Zodiac calls a dead cop a blue meanie. Go back and listen if you don't remember. Anyway, in this other code that has never been broken. Anyway, this is another code. God, I'm sorry. This is another code that has never been broken and validated.
The 13 one.
Yes.
And probably because it's so short.
Well, and just like the Zodiac letter to the San Francisco Chronicle postmarked July 31st, 1969, where he promised if the Z408 cipher was broken, his identity would be revealed. Well, in the letter containing the Z13 cipher, once again, the Zodiac made reference to a code breaker uncovering his true identity. In the Z13 letter, the Zodiac wrote the words, "My name is ... and then inserted his 13 symbols, implying that his name contains 13 letters. Even though the solution to Z408 cipher contained the phrase, "I will not give you my name." So he's given mixed messages. Is Zodiac just fucking with people?
I mean, he definitely is fucking with people. Arthur Lee Allen is 14 characters, I think.
So Leigh is how he spells it.
L-E-I. Oh, so not L-E-E?
It's not.
Oh, okay.
So how many letters in Arthur Lee Allen?
Then that would be like 16, 17. Not
16 or 17, yeah. Okay.
It would be 14 if it was L-E-E, but it's not. 14, 15, 16.
Yeah, it's Leigh.
Anyway, just like, whoa.
Well, that's the thing. He's giving these mixed messages. You crack it, I'll tell you, you'll see my name. Mm-hmm. Another letter, he's saying, I'll never tell you because then you'll stop me from doing my thing. Is he just fucking with people? Was he ever, like you said, ever going to reveal his identity?
He definitely is fucking with people, but like also like, the strange thing about, not the strange thing, but the reason why this third one, the 13 one, could be so complicated is because it's so short, not enough to example around, not enough to like find those double L's because he's not using it so much, right? Or whatever the hell it is to figure out.
You're absolutely right. And I wrote that into my story.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, don't be. You're absolutely right.
Right.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got him, folks. I got him.
Here's something about Z13. One code, and this is kind of funny. One code breaker figured out that the first three letters in Z13 are A-E-N. And since the code is 13 symbols long, the solution to the name must be Alfred E. Newman, the dimpled, freckled-faced, big-eared, missing-toothed mascot from Mad Magazine. Alfred E. Newman is 13 letters long, and his initials are A-E-N, so that must be it. A lot of people bought into this theory because it kind of matched the Zodiac's temperament, his humor.
Right.
Again, the Zodiac just fucking with people. Maybe. Yeah. The problem with this code is, like you said, Oscar, it's just too short and could therefore offer
and he's using different types of puzzle, code breaking, code making in each one of these. The first one was a simple substitution. The second one is this Caesar thing, maybe.
The Caesar shift forward, shift back, three letters.
To figure out the order of that must have taken
starting
him a while.
With Latin.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, like, bro. So, like, and then this one could be anything and it's too short to figure out.
Right.
Right.
That's exactly right. But Alfred E. Newman, do you know who that is?
No, listen, no, sorry.
Listeners, look up Mad Magazine cover. Google Mad Magazine cover, and you'll see exactly who Alfred E. Newman is. Oscar's going to do it right now. Yeah. He's the Mad Magazine mascot, which is really popular during this time. So it's the Zodiac saying, "Yeah, fuckers, I'm Alfred E. Newman." You know, but if that's what it really means, the Z13 code. So, did you find it yet? That's it. Yeah. That's Mad Magazine.
No, I definitely know this face and everything, and I even read some for sure.
Oh, I used to read Mad Magazine for sure.
As a kid, I didn't understand it though. As a kid, though, I didn't know the Americanisms of what was in there because I didn't know English very well.
Yeah,
but I remember loving the animation or the sketching and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely,
for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, that's Alfred E. Newman. That's who this guy is saying. The Zodiac is saying he is.
Right. Seems like a joke.
And now for the Zodiac's final cipher.
Mm-hmm.
On July 26, 1970, the Zodiac sent a letter and a cipher to the San Francisco Chronicle. This is known as the Z32 cipher, also known as the map code.
Ooh. We
talked about it in the last episode. This is a letter that also contained a map with the Zodiac's crossed circle drawn over Mount Diablo. In the letter, the Zodiac said that if the 32-symbol cipher was cracked, the location of his bomb would be revealed, implying that the code referred to coordinates. This is another code that has never been successfully cracked and validated, but solutions have been offered. One example of a possible solution was made using the C408 cipher's homophonic method, because most of the symbols found in Z32 were also found in Z408. So using the method that cracked Z408 to crack Z32 kind of made sense. Unfortunately, the result was basically gibberish, a random string of letters. The random string of letters were then worked and worked and worked to produce the following string of letters. I'm going to read this. You guys do what you want with it.
Letters, not words.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. D. Okay. Quote. Shit sucks, man. Because I'm seeing words in here as well.
Right. So you're trying to stop yourself from reading.
So I'm saying the words. I just want to say the letters. So, gotcha. Okay. Quote. D. S. B. E. L. I. S. H. O. U. R. T. W. I. C. H. T. H. E. K. I. N. G. M. A. D. E. A. R. S. E. S. End quote.
You know what that sounds like?
Go back 20 seconds, write it down, and crack it, listeners. Let us know.
You know what kind of sounds like?
What? Tell me.
And I didn't think I don't know if people have thought of this before. What if these codes are actually maybe a little simple? We figured them out, but the fact that they look gibberish, maybe they're like a serial number.
To what?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where you would find the index or the database that would say like, we use a hyphenated, 10 followed by 24, which equals to 36 or whatever the hell it is. The number codes for some items we've had in the 70s, whatever. Like if you use a serial number for something very specific to use on killings or
gun,
for his car or something, right? Or his radio tires.
VIN number.
Right, VIN number.
VIN number to his vehicle.
Right.
Which could then be traced to
him. But I know VIN numbers are shorter, but however, maybe...
No, they might be right around there. VIN numbers are long.
Yeah, they are long.
But they also contain letters and numbers.
Yes.
This was all letters. The way it was cracked in this example was all letters.
Right. I know he's never used numbers, right? I don't think he'll...
I want to say... Well, decoded, no.
No.
But in writings, yes.
Oh, yes.
Like in his letters.
No, I mean, I'm just saying in the codes.
No, I don't believe so.
Right. So maybe we're mistaking some of those letters for numbers, or numbers for letters, or whatever.
It all depends on how you crack it.
Right, I guess so. I'm just saying, I don't know.
I mean, I wish I understood cryptography. I don't. I think it's really cool.
Hey, he's giving me ideas, though, for Lexi's next puzzle, though.
Oh,
for sure.
Oh, man, that's a whole nother side road to what you're planning for her.
Fucked.
I love it. But now when I'm looking at these string of letters, I see things, and they're not necessarily there, but I see disbelief, I see shout, I see wicked, I see king, I see mad.
I see the name of that, the guy you talked to, Belly.
Belai. Yes.
B-E-L-I. I think you actually spelled that out.
B-E-L-L-I.
Yeah, I'm saying you spelled it, I think.
B-E-L-I.
Yeah. Well, not two L's, but...
No, you're right. Oh, yeah, good. Belai.
Mm-hmm. I'm saying something personal, right? About like he would know that.
Yeah, it's... No, you're right.
And it's the last one, so he probably had talked about him, right, by then. Talk to him.
This came... Hold on, let me scroll right back up my notes real quick. I got to see when this was post-dated. June 26, 1970. I believe the conversation with Belai was later.
Okay.
We mentioned it in the last episode. I'd have to find those notes.
It's okay. No, you don't have to.
But you're right. I do see Belai in there now too. Right. But it's weird.
I also got shout or short, something like that. Yeah, I also got a few others.
Yes. It's weird when you look at this string of letters typed out with no spaces. These words just boom fly out at you. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what these 32 characters mean, but maybe a listener could find out.
Yeah.
Of course, if the Z32 cipher should equal a geographical point, like when the Zodiac mentioned in his July 26, 1970 letter to the San Francisco Chronicle, that the cipher refers to radians, then maybe the Z32 cipher shouldn't contain letters at all. Maybe it should only contain numbers, like hours, minutes, and seconds, like a geographical point. And again, so far, no one has been able to crack or solve this code. Now, what's really interesting about this letter, besides the Z32 code, is the map the Zodiac included. On the map, next to his cross circle over Mount Diablo, the Zodiac drew his own little compass and wrote the instructions, quote, 0 is to be set to mag N, where mag N equals magnetic north. This shows a level of intelligence not yet seen from the Zodiac. Who else would, or could, distinguish true north, or geographic north, from magnetic north, the north that is directly opposite where the Earth's magnetic south is? It's a drifting north. It's actually some complicated stuff. How did the Zodiac know the difference? What line of work was he in? Was he a Boy Scout at one time? Was he military at some point? There's so many questions.
It does seem like that's some sort of it could be a Boy Scout thing, like a camping thing, right? Like something they need to navigate, right? Like
or
naval,
military,
something
naval,
right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And actually at one of the crime scenes, they did find kind of like a boot print, like a fairly large boot print.
Oh yeah, you can find in military surplus stores, right?
Yeah, or that it was kept from the military or possibly Navy.
Right.
So many questions come from these things. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's the Zodiac ciphers in all their incongruous glory. Again, check the show notes for links to some of the codes and to some of the Zodiac's letters and other interesting tidbits that complement our Zodiac episodes. Maybe you could be the one who finally cracks some of these codes. But hurry, listeners, if you want to be the first to crack the Zodiac's seemingly impossible remaining codes, you're going to have to beat out a supercomputer named Carmel. In an article from IFL Science dated November 17th, 2017, I learned that a supercomputer armed with artificial intelligence is hot on the Zodiac case. The computer, codenamed Carmel, and programmed by Kevin Knight. Jason Knight. It's my uncle. An AI, cryptography, and code-breaking expert from California's Information Science Institute, Carmel is using the writings of the Zodiac Killer to try and decode the unbreakable Z408 code. So far, no results are available. But Carmel is doing something interesting on the side when it's not trying to break the Zodiac's code. It's writing poetry. All you have to do is plug in a few random words, and Carmel, using a serial killer's logic, will produce poems. Very creepy poems. But what do you expect from something that's programmed to think like the Zodiac? Here's an example cited in an IFL Science article using the random words life, chemistry, galaxy, and dinosaur. This is what Carmel wrote, quote, "A little happy daughter, Jennifer. The children die without a fear of dying. Never ever gonna live forever. On the wings of love and soul undying. Travel through marine biology. Feel the sounds of Compton scattering. I write a lyrics from a human body. Hear the sound of stress corrosion cracking. Float and glide across the Milky Way. A planets on a galaxy formation. The words of Earth and nuclear decay. A world of peace beneath the constellation. Snap my finger on a dinosaur's. Catch a bullet from a lower jaw. And when I hear the sound of thunder roars, fear of being blinded by the claw." End quote. Pretty creepy stuff.
Yeah.
And as I said, no word from Knight or Carmel on Z408 being broken. Let's wait and see.
Yeah.
A fucking computer writing serial killer poetry.
Yeah.
Crazy. The world we live in.
And we can't solve world hunger, huh?
And we can't solve world hunger. That's right. What do you think of that?
Nah, I think almost nothing about that. It seems like a fun lark thing. But, supercomputer added, yeah, it's cool. I'm not sure about it making poetry about it, but sure,
Why not?
Also, Carmel sounds like the scientist is like first stripper that he had or something. That's what he named
stripper.
it. Like,
All right. So those are the ciphers. Now, let's talk about a few possible but not proven to be Zodiac crimes.
okay.
And we'll cover 3. The one I'd like to start with involves a Zodiac letter we spoke about last episode. The letter I'm referring to was sent to the San Francisco Chronicle and postmarked July 24th, 1970. In this letter, the Zodiac continued to complain about people not wearing his tchotchke bullshit Zodiac symbol buttons,
Oh my God.
but almost in the same breath,
I want to get one actually.
Zodiac makes mention of and claims responsibility for the attempted abduction of a pregnant woman and her child on March 22nd, 1970. The Zodiac's exact words in that letter were, quote, "This is the Zodiac speaking. I am rather unhappy because you people will not wear some nice Zodiac buttons. So I now have a little list, starting with the woman and her baby that I gave a rather interesting ride for a couple of hours one evening a few months back that ended in my burning her car where I found them." End quote. Considering who's saying this, those words are absolutely chilling. And as it turns out, a 22-year-old woman named Kathleen Johns and her infant daughter were pulled over near Patterson, California at about 11:15 p.m. on March 22nd, 1970 by a man gesturing that one of her tires was wobbly. So they're driving, he gets up to her and he's pointing to her tire, saying like something's wrong with your tire. So they both pull off the road. The man offered to fix the tire, but Kathleen later told police that as she drove away, she noticed her tire was wobbling much, much worse, and it eventually fell off.
That he did it, right?
Yes. According to Kathleen, the man stopped once again, and this time offered to drive Kathleen and her infant daughter to a service station. That never happened. Instead, what we think was the Zodiac drove Kathleen and her daughter around for over 2 hours, up and down dark back roads near the town of Tracy in California. The entire time, Kathleen said, the man threatened to kill both mother and infant daughter. At one point, according to the story, Kathleen got up the courage to fling herself and her daughter from the moving vehicle, and they ultimately made it back to safety at a police station. There at the station, Kathleen was shocked to see a wanted poster on the wall. On the poster was a man, approximately 30 years old, about 160 pounds, with short dark hair and heavy rimmed glasses. It was the same man that tormented her and her daughter for the last 2 hours.
Yeah.
the name on the wanted poster was Zodiac. Again, it has never been proven that the man who tormented Kathleen and her daughter was in fact the Zodiac. You might say, well, the Zodiac wrote that letter talking about this incident. And yes, he did. But was he merely referencing a crime he heard about, trying to take credit for it? Think about it. This letter, where the Zodiac claims responsibility for the kidnapping, lacks any real detail, which would prove he was the abductor.
Right. If he really wanted to prove it, he'll probably say something very specific he said to her
like
that she can corroborate.
Yes, like he did in his other letters. He mentions the bullet types, positions of bodies, even what victims were wearing. In this letter, if you read it in its entirety, we get none of that. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Yeah. He
But
takes
it's
credit
often-
for things that didn't happen, too.
Yeah, so it's often associated with him.
So I went on Amazon real quick to look for the Zodiac button, see if I could just get one,
Yeah.
retroactively wear it. And I found this. I'm a Cruise girl.
I'm a Cruise girl because Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
They were saying Ted Cruz was the Zodiac.
Yeah.
If we have time, we'll bark about that for a little bit.
But nothing like that, though. Right now, I can't find their OG.
Now, the next crime possibly committed by the Zodiac is the double murder of Robert Domingos, age 18, and Linda Edwards, 17, which took place on June 4th, 1963, well before the first confirmed Zodiac murder, that of 17-year-old David Faraday and 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen on December 20th, 1968.
Yeah. I mean, killers don't start off being great at it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
In the Domingos Edward case, the two teens took advantage of their high school senior ditch day, and they decided to visit a remote beach off of Highway 101 south of Gaviota in Santa Barbara County, California. Apparently, as the two were sunbathing, a man approached them, carrying a .22 caliber semi-automatic weapon. Pointing the gun at Linda Edwards, the man ordered her to bind Robert Domingos with lengths of pre-cut rope. Does this sound familiar?
Yes.
Once Domingos was bound, the man began to bind Edwards. But somehow Domingos managed to get loose of his binds, and he fought back, just enough so the couple could run away. But the attacker leveled his gun and shot Domingos 11 times and Edwards 9 times. Both were shot with Winchester Super X bullets. Go back to the last episode, listeners.
Mm-hmm.
The bodies were then dragged to a nearby shack and stacked on top of one another. The killer sliced Linda Edwards' bathing suit open, exposing her breasts, but there was no sign of sexual molestation or anything. And then, in an attempt to hide evidence, the killer set fire to the shack, but it wouldn't catch, so he just left them there. The bodies of Robert Domingos and Linda Edwards were found shortly thereafter. No one was ever brought to justice for the murders, and just like all the others, they remain unsolved to this day. Now, the similarities between this case and the confirmed Zodiac murder and attempted murder of Cecilia Shepard and Brian Hartnell at Lake Berryessa in 1969 are striking. A young couple, a secluded beach.
Just not the stabbing, but he might have gotten to it if they hadn't tried running away, right?
Could be.
Right.
So we got the stab, a young couple, a secluded beach, tying up with pre-cut lengths of rope, a knife, and a gun. The knife, they assume, was used to slice open the bathing suit.
And there's no survivor, so we don't know if he dressed the same.
Right.
Right, there's that too.
Not to mention, the bullets used in this case are the same type of bullets used in another confirmed Zodiac crime.
But also they're probably everywhere.
Yeah, the Lake Herman Road murders of David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen in 1968. So this one, in my opinion, definitely very early Zodiac murders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I might go with you on that one. I'm at
That's very
60-70% pretty sure that might have been him.
yeah. That's way too similar. So that means he was killing way before 68. So maybe he is up to 37.
Right, and you just level up by no one knows about my murders. Like no one's trying to catch me. No one's looking for me as a serial killer. I'll let the press know after this one, and start there. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Now, the last possible Zodiac murder I'd like to discuss is October 30th, 1966, beating and stabbing death of 18-year-old Cherry Jo Bates. That's another very 60s name, Cherry Joe.
I guess. I've never even heard of him.
Yeah.
That name. Combo.
On October 30th, 1966, Cherry Joe Bates entered the Riverside City College Public Library at around 6:15, and no one is sure what time she left that library. Some say it was around 9 p.m., the library's closing time. Others claim Cherry Joe was never at the library at all. Someone saw her at the library that morning instead of that night. The timetables in the story are all conflicting. What isn't conflicting is that someone had purposely disabled Cherry Joe's Volkswagen Bug as it sat in the library parking lot. This forced Cherry Joe to walk wherever she was headed next. And that was it for Cherry Joe. The next morning, Halloween, a groundskeeper discovered Cherry Joe's body in a dirt alleyway just west of the Riverside Library Annex. She was lying face down in a pool of dried blood. She had been brutally attacked and stabbed multiple times with the short-bladed knife.
Mm-hmm.
There were signs of a brutal struggle, as Cherry Joe had hair and skin under her fingernails, and a Timex watch with a broken band was found a few feet away, likely ripped off by Cherry as she fought for her life. Good for you. No one was ever convicted of the murder, still unsolved. Now, 1 month after the murder, a typed confession letter was sent to the Riverside Homicide Detail and the Riverside Press Enterprise. The confession letter read, quote, "She was young and beautiful, but now she is battered and dead. She is not the first, and she will not be the last. I lay awake nights thinking about my next victim. Maybe she will be the beautiful blonde that babysits near the little store and walks down the dark alley each evening about 7. Maybe she will be the shapely, blue-eyed brunette that said XXX no when I asked her for a date in high school. But maybe it will not be either. But I shall cut off her female parts and deposit them for the whole city to see. So don't make it easy for me. Keep your sisters, daughters, and wives off the streets and alleys. Miss Bates was stupid. She went to the slaughter like a lamb. She did not put up a struggle, but I did. It was a ball. I first pulled the middle wire from the distributor. Then I waited for her in the library and followed her out after about 2 minutes. The battery must have been about dead by then. I then offered to help. She was then very willing to talk to me. I told her that my car was down the street and that I would give her a lift home. When we were away from the library walking, I said it was about time. She asked me, about time for what? I said it was about time for her to die. I grabbed her around the neck with my hand and over her mouth, and my other hand with a small knife at her throat. She went very willingly. Her breast felt very warm and firm under my hands, but only one thing was on my mind: making her pay for all the brush-offs that she had given me during the years prior. She died hard. She squirmed and shook as I choked her, and her lips twitched. She let out a scream once, and I kicked her in the head to shut her up. I plunged the knife into her, and it broke. I then finished the job out, cutting her throat. I am not sick. I am insane. But that will not stop the game. This letter should be published for all to read it. It just might save that girl in the alley. But that's up to you. It will be on your conscience, not mine. Yes, I did make that call to you also. It was just a warning. Beware. I am stalking your girls now." End quote.
What was the victim's name again?
Cherry Joe Bates. Now, this letter wasn't signed. No zodiac symbol.
You said it was typed.
Correct. Yes. Then, exactly 6 months after Cherry Joe's murder, 3 more letters went out. One to Cherry's father, one to the Riverside Police, and one to the Riverside Press Enterprise. The letters were very short. Cherry's father's letter read simply, quote, "She had to die, there will be more," end quote. The other 2 letters read, "Bates had to die, there will be more," quote, end quote. All 3 letters included this squiggly little letter-looking thing that, if seeing the Cherry Joe case through Zodiac-tinted glasses, looks a hell of a lot like the letter Z. And the killer wasn't finished with his writings just yet. Shortly after Cherry Joe's murder, a poem was found written on the underside of a desk in the Riverside Library. That poem was called Sick of Living, Unwilling to Die. And it read, quote, cut, clean. If red, I clean. Blood spurting, dripping, spitting. All over her new dress. Oh well, it was red anyway. Life draining into an uncertain death. She won't die this time. Someone'll find her. Just wait till next time. End quote. And then it looked like the poem was signed R.H., whatever that means. When Cherry Joe was found, she was wearing red pants, and all this reference to red.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, Cherry Joe Bates is 2 years before the first confirmed Zodiac murder, and there are many, many more unsolved murders that are now believed to be linked to the Zodiac. It really makes you think about when the Zodiac said he killed 37. Could he been telling the truth?
Where do these other ones, like, I'm not saying name them all, of course, but how do the people, like, come to that conclusion over the years, like, oh, this unsolved murder is him or could have been him?
It's all the MO, the victim type, bullet types.
And some of the people took years to, like, come to that conclusion?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. And it doesn't just focus on the Bay Area. There's killings in other parts of the country that match the MO.
Okay.
It's fucked up.
All right.
Which kind of gets us into, let's talk about two people whose names come up frequently when trying to solve the mystery of the Zodiac Killer. And mind you, this is just two names out of approximately 2,500 Zodiac Killer suspects.
Yeah, that tip line didn't help either.
Right. So let's start with the name Corey Starlipper came up when he supposedly cracked the Z340 cipher, Lee Allen. Now this suspect's full name was Arthur Lee Allen, but most people referred to him as Lee, and that's Leigh. This is the only person in a list of around 2,500 Zodiac Killer suspects that had 2 search warrants executed on his properties. The only guy. For decades, Vallejo police and Zodiac experts have claimed that all fingers as to who the Zodiac likely was point to Lee Allen. At the time of the Zodiac killings, Allen was in his late 30s, and he was big, hulking even, and very intimidating. And he always carried around guns and knives, and would use those items to intimidate people, like stabbing his knife into solid wooden tables to accent his points.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, shit like that.
Yeah. Asshole.
Asshole, exactly.
That's what I heard. Asshole.
People said Lee Allen's eyes were completely devoid of emotion, like he was on a totally different plane of existence. Now, as big and scary and devoid of emotion Lee Allen supposedly was, for a profession, well, he was big, but devoid of emotion, subjective. But for a profession, he was a school teacher, an elementary school teacher, actually. Lee Allen claimed to love little kids, and as people tell it, kids loved Lee Allen. But Lee's love for children went a little too far, as he was accused of molesting children at his school, and was promptly fired. Matter of fact, one Vallejo cop said later that Lee Allen confessed to him that he loved to masturbate to the sounds of children getting beaten. Sick fucker.
Damn, so specific. How did you get there?
I know. Now, according to Lee Allen's longtime friend, Don Cheney, after he was fired from his elementary school job, Lee Allen had a really difficult time finding a new job, and he got desperate. Lee Allen started telling Don Cheney that instead of finding a job, fuck it, he, Allen, was instead thinking about becoming a professional criminal. In fact, Allen told his buddy Don Cheney a lot.
Yeah.
According to Cheney, Lee Allen laid it all out for him.
Right.
Allen said that as a professional criminal, he would give himself a criminal identity, and that he would kill random people and write letters to editors bragging about his crimes. And he even said that his name would be, you ready for this? Zodiac.
Of course.
Lee Allen even took his buddy Cheney to Blue Rock Springs Park, site of the attack on Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mayhew, and he took Cheney to Lake Herman Road, the site of the David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen shootings. And while at these sites, Cheney said Lee Allen would get distant and talk about what he'd like to do to women in these locations. Bad things. Terrible things. When Don Cheney said to Lee Allen, "Lee, listen, you got to think about what you're saying, the things you'd like to do. I mean, really think about this." According to Cheney, Lee answered, "It's too late for that." One day while at Lee Allen's home, Cheney was showing a pistol with a pen light on it, and Lee told him that wherever the light shines, the bullet will go. Nearly the exact same statement made by the Zodiac in one of his letters. Mm-hmm. In another conversation between Lee Allen and Don Cheney, Lee was really amped up and angry with the local school system, probably for firing him.
Right.
And according to Cheney, while ranting about the school system, Lee Allen let it slip that he would like to pick off kiddies as they came bouncing off a bus. Again, the exact words the Zodiac used in one of his letters. And this is great. One time at Lee Allen's house, he asked Cheney to lick some stamps and affix them to some thank you letters Allen was sending out, which Cheney did. Was Allen thinking about masking evidence when he asked Cheney to lick the stamps? Now, this is a lot of circumstantial evidence pointing to Arthur Lee Allen as the Zodiac provided by his close friend, Don Cheney. And most information I've read points to Cheney as being a good stand-up guy who wouldn't lie about something like this.
They were always be friends with him.
Right, exactly. But, you don't know.
But also, yeah, I know.
But there's even more. As the story goes, Lee Allen wanted to work as a killer for hire for a low-level mafia guy named Ralph Spinelli. Lee Allen told Spinelli that he could kill people for him and take credit for murders because he was Zodiac. Not the Zodiac, but Zodiac. He referred to himself as, "I am Zodiac," not the Zodiac. I am Zodiac. Now, Spinelli thought Lee Allen was nuts, or that Allen had been sent to him offering contract killer services by the police to set him up.
Yeah, how can you believe that, right? Some guy out of the blue.
Exactly.
Right.
So Spinelli told Lee Allen to fuck off, get away from him. But before Allen left, he told Spinelli that to prove he was Zodiac, he would kill someone in San Francisco, and the killing would be blamed on the Zodiac. And once Spinelli saw the killing in the news, he'd know it was Lee, and he'd know Lee was the Zodiac. And sure enough, shortly after this encounter between Lee Allen and Spinelli, the taxi driver Paul Stein was murdered in San Francisco. Shortly after Stein's murder, Lee Allen returned to Spinelli and said, "Do you believe me now?" And Spinelli said, "Yes, I do believe you. Now you really have to get the fuck away from me." And that was it. Spinelli never told police about the encounter until well after Lee Allen was dead. And spoiler, Arthur Lee Allen is no longer with us.
Yeah, cancer? No.
Well, he died of heart attack. Brought on by, I believe, like diabetes and other things.
Sorry,
we're jumping ahead.
I always go cancer, but I know some health thing. Yeah.
Now, here's a couple more points connecting Arthur Lee Allen to the Zodiac. A lot of people didn't know this at the time, but Lee Allen was ambidextrous. He could write with his left hand and right hand. If Allen wrote the Zodiac letters, he could write the letter with one hand. Then, when police asked for handwriting samples to compare to the Zodiac, which they did, Allen could easily use the other hand for the sample, making it look like the two handwriting types were different, even though they came from the same person. Lee Allen owned a Zodiac brand watch, which his mother gave him as a gift in 1967. About a year before the first confirmed Zodiac murders on December 20th, 1968. And the Zodiac watch even had the crossed circle image on the face, directly under the number 12, the very same symbol that would be associated with the Zodiac.
Yep.
And here's something else. In September 1974, Arthur Lee Allen was arrested for molesting a young boy and sentenced to prison in March 1975. From March 1975 to August 31st, 1977, no one heard from the Zodiac. No letters, no kills. Then, on April 24th, 1978, another supposed Zodiac letter was sent to the San Francisco Chronicle, which contained the sentence, "I am back with you," quote unquote. People who believe that Arthur Lee Allen is the Zodiac theory point out that Lee Allen's prison term and the Zodiac going silent, then resuming his letter sending after Lee Allen gets out of prison, is too much of a coincidence to ignore.
Goddamn right.
Here's even more items. Lee Allen lived just a 10-minute walk from the payphone where the Zodiac made his first call to police dispatcher Nancy Slover right after he committed the Blue Rock Springs murders of Michael Mayhew and Darlene Ferrin. Both Blue Rock Springs Park and Lake Herman Road are a 15-minute drive from Allen's home. Darlene Ferrin worked as a waitress at an International House of Pancakes restaurant that was just 1 block from Lee Allen's home. And Allen's good old pal Don Chaney told investigators that Allen once told him he was fond of a waitress there. Could have been Darlene Ferrin. In 1992, 23 years after being nearly shot to death by the Zodiac, Michael Mayhew picked Lee Allen's photo out of a photographic lineup of 1968 California driver's licenses.
Mm-hmm.
He picked out Allen's. But because it was 23 years after the shooting, and memory is tricky, police put little faith in Mayhew's selection of Arthur Lee Allen as his attacker. And then there's a question about the police sketches of the Zodiac. Now, in every article I've read, Lee Allen is always described as big or hulking. This description of a large, hulking man does not match the most famous police sketch, the one made based off eyewitnesses in the Paul Stine murder, that of a thin-faced man wearing glasses. But it does resemble the lesser-known sketch made after the shooting of Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard.
Yep.
The man in that sketch is much bigger, with a more defined, wider jaw and a broad face. And no glasses. Lee Allen didn't wear glasses. Again, make sure and check the show notes so you can see this comparison. And here's one more possible link. While executing a search warrant of Lee Allen's home, Vallejo police found a cache of handguns, along with pipe bombs and formulas to make fuel-based bombs, like the bomb the Zodiac mentioned in his 7-page letter written to the San Francisco Chronicle and postmarked November 9th, 1969, which described the bombing of a school bus using this very same type of device. Lee Allen denied these items were his, saying instead that they were left at his home by some unknown third party. Now, in 1992, police thought they had such a case against Arthur Lee Allen, so much circumstantial evidence, that they were making plans to go to the district attorney's office to get a warrant for his arrest. Authorities wanted Lee Allen to be tried by a jury based off that circumstantial evidence, thinking no sane jury could overlook it. But before they could secure the warrant, Arthur Lee Allen died of a heart attack at age 58 on August 26, 1992. As it turns out, fingerprints found at the Paul Stine taxicab murder and fingerprints found on Zodiac letters were proven to not be Lee Allen's. And his handwriting samples didn't exactly match the Zodiac's, but we already talked about that.
Mm-hmm.
And samples of DNA pulled from envelopes and stamps weren't Lee Allen's either. Again, all circumstantial. Up until the day he died, Allen was hounded by authorities as being the Zodiac. Books were written about him, documentaries made about him, magazine articles written, all while he was still alive, and all pointing him out as the Zodiac killer. If he was innocent, imagine what this guy was going through, having his name dragged to the mud like that. He was quoted as saying, "I am not the Zodiac killer. I know that. I know that deep in my soul. I've never been known for good luck, and I guess this is pretty much living proof of it. I couldn't murder anyone." Arthur Lee Allen vehemently denied he was the Zodiac up until the day he died. Whatever secrets Arthur Lee Allen might have had, he took to the grave.
Yeah.
And I'll leave a link to Arthur Lee Allen's driver's license in the show notes, so you can see what he looks like. So that's the most infamous suspect, Arthur Lee Allen.
Yeah.
But my favorite idea of a Zodiac killer suspect is intricately linked to the Manson family. Remember, while the Zodiac killings were happening in San Francisco, Charles Manson and his family are building up and planning and executing their helter-skelter thing further south in and around Los Angeles. Remember, these things were happening at the same time. Also interesting to note is that our old friend, the Process Church of the Final Judgment, had headquarters in San Francisco at this time. While at the same time, the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic is also in full swing in San Francisco, possibly churning out Manchurian candidates. To learn more about the Process Church, the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic, and more, check out our 3-part series on Charles Manson. Now, Manson family member and Charles Manson's one-time right-hand man, Bruce Davis, has been credited as being the Zodiac Killer. Bruce Davis, along with Manson and other family members, killed Shorty Shea. Bruce Davis was there when Charles Manson cut off Gary Hinman's ear. Bruce Davis spent time in Scientology. And interestingly, Manson sent Bruce Davis to London to visit the Process Church of the Final Judgment. What he did there, no one knows. But if he was sorted into the Satan house, God knows what he was capable of.
Let's see what you did there.
Harry Potter. Again, check out our Manson series to learn more about the Process Church and their houses or personality types. Bruce Davis was known to have studied heavily Process Church literature, and he devoured their magazines. In one of the Process Church magazine, an image was found that showed a huge crossed circle glowing over a dark mountain range. It's the Zodiac symbol. Bruce Davis's handwriting and the Zodiac's handwriting shared common traits. Namely, neither dotted their I's, their R's and M's were similar, as was how they wrote a lot of their numbers. The Zodiac attacked Farron and Mayhew with a 9mm. Bruce Davis owned a 9mm. Okay. Unconfirmed reports say that black hoods and a knife were found during a search of a Manson family property in which Bruce Davis either lived or often frequented. In the Zodiac's Lake Berryessa murders, the killer wore a black executioner's hood. And then they found these black hoods at a property associated with Bruce Davis. Then there's the way Cherry Jo Bates and Cecilia Shepard were killed, by being viciously stabbed to death. How were Sharon Tate, Abigail Folger, Jay Sebring, Wojciech Frykowski, and Leno and Rosemary LaBianca murdered? Vicious stabbing. It's also believed that Bruce Davis worked at Riverside City College when Cherry Jo Bates was murdered. And after Bruce Davis turned himself over to Los Angeles police in December of 1970, no further credible murders were ever linked to the Zodiac again. The Manson family was known to leave messages in blood at crime scenes. The Zodiac wrote a message on the door of Brian Hartnell's Volkswagen Karmann Ghia, not in blood, but in marker. So the question must be asked, were the Zodiac killings a part of Manson's idea for the Helter-Skelter revolution? And was Manson's right-hand man chosen to help usher in Helter-Skelter by becoming the Zodiac Killer? If it wasn't Bruce Davis, could the Zodiac have been another member of the Manson family? Investigators claim all male members of the Manson family were checked out as possible suspects, and ultimately all were supposedly cleared. Is it possible investigators missed someone?
I would say so. I mean, the one thing about the Stein character is that the kids across the street there in the house, I saw them, the witnesses, they described them much thinner, right? And the cops described when they let him go, when they were looking at the time for a black male instead of a white male, and they saw this guy, if I remember correctly, they described him like almost 6, and he was seemingly bigger. So I think the eyewitnesses maybe got that wrong. This is why I'm leaning towards more of a Lee Allen fault thing, if I remember correctly. And I think the cops, who was to blame for not catching him when they could have, I think I think they saw a bigger version of the Thin Man that the kids said across the street from the Stein
So
murder.
the kids saw a white male, 25 to 30, 5'8" to 5'9",
Glasses.
stocky build, reddish brown hair, heavy rim glasses, dark clothing. Yeah. I just want to confirm.
Yeah. So I'm saying I don't know if I like what you're going with the Manson thing. And I'm not even saying that a member of the Manson family couldn't take advantage. It's like a train or conga line. You just join it real quick, do something in there, and then get out, and just blame it on
Right.
Zodiac did it at some point. Not to mention Zodiac was like a egocentric asshole who loved the attention anyway. So if someone saw it, it's like, oh, this has got to be one of his or something. He'll take the credit.
Exactly, take the credit. And one of the biggest, I think, to your point of being an egocentric asshole,
Yeah.
the way he whines about the fucking buttons.
Yeah.
Why aren't people wearing my buttons?
Yeah, what a little pansy
Thing.
on top of everything.
What a bitch.
What a
you
little
know?
bitch.
But you're right. You're absolutely right. Egocentric.
I can't even find buttons online, though. I'm going to go on Etsy or something.
Not supposed to promote this.
I want one now. I mean, he's dead. Who gives a fuck?
Well, for Halloween, maybe it could be the Zodiac.
No, how can it be someone that
Or
wasn't
be
there?
Zodiac, not the Zodiac. I'm Zodiac.
Well,
What
wear the
schmuck.
black garb thing. Now I'll just look like a
With
metal.
the sunglasses over the hood, the big Zodiac symbol on your chest.
No, Legion. Do Legion. But
Got it.
but it'd be fun. Yeah. Anyway, it's cool.
is a cool
It's
story.
cool. I've always liked the idea of Zodiac. I'm not saying like I'm fascinated by who is it. I just love the idea that we have a big whodunit that we'll never know.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we said in the last episode, like
In
our own
America.
version of Jack the Ripper.
Right.
Right?
That's
Yeah.
exactly right. And it's like, Japan has Godzilla. We're trying to find our own Godzilla. We have King Kong, I guess. It's like I like having our own kind of
You like having your own unidentified serial killer.
serial killer. Exactly.
I don't know how to take that.
I mean, we're fucked up and violent here.
Yeah, well,
We're way more violent than
fucked
any
up. Look
other.
what we're talking about.
I'm just saying, how many, I'm sorry to be political a little bit, and that's all obviously not really political. I mean, how many more school shootings do we have by the truckloads than any other country? Like, it's insane. Come on, we're crazy.
Did you say executions?
School shootings.
School shooting. Oh, fuck, yeah.
Like, by the truckload more than the second one, like second country most. Like, it's insane.
I think we're first. I'm pretty sure we're first.
Oh, no, we're 100% first.
Yeah.
We're by a big margin.
Landslide, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
sick,
like,
it's sad.
we're
it's
weird and
fucked
fucked
man.
up. We're stupid. And we're whatever. So anyway, yes, I want our own Jack the Ripper.
Getting back to the point.
It could be a Chicago thing too, because a lot of Chicagoans are very proud of the violence that we.
Oh, we talk about it always.
Yeah, I don't know why we're proud of it.
Yeah.
I'm not really, but sometimes I catch myself saying like you can't mess with us, like what I
Exactly.
mean. But like I shouldn't.
We're the toughest. We're the baddest.
Right,
You know,
we'll
look at
kill
our
you for a
murder
nickel.
rate.
Yeah,
And
why would I
Capone
boast about that? That's stupid.
And Al Capone and all that. We love that shit.
Like I wouldn't. I never would, obviously. But I'm just saying, it just sounds a stupid thing.
But
to
I
be-
think you're right. I think Chicagoans do hold that.
which is also
to a certain
Americans. Yeah, goes along with the American side too. I feel like Texas has a little bit of that too, with their proud heritage of being its own country in a way.
Yeah.
Right? They're so
Everything's bigger in Texas.
right, shit like that. Everyone has their own thing. So anyway, so I've always liked Zodiac for that, and the puzzle thing. I've always been love
It's
the puzzle
fascinating.
thing. Love the cryptography angle. I loved it.
And the name Zodiac. I mean, it's so
Yeah, it's a catchy
cryptic.
name.
It's
It's a
so
catchy
it is
name.
catchy. It's this guy had a knack for flair, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a panache there. I hate to say it, but there was.
Yeah, and that's what made him interesting, or made them interesting, if you want to combine with like a two-person thing. Yeah, that's why I like it more than maybe some of the other ones I never heard of or passingly heard of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also like the fact that this guy, his lack of identity, defies like psychological attack or critique or like analyzing, right? Because Manson, we can analyze that guy. We know where he came from, how many fucking foster homes or how many prisons he went through before he did this. Like it feels like we know too much, so we can imbue whatever we want into that. We know nothing of this guy because we don't know exactly who did it.
Yeah.
We know most likely who did it, but we don't know exactly who did it.
Yeah.
So I like that adds to an air of mystery. It could be anyone, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so.
And for me, I'm leaning more possibly Bruce Davis or someone with connection.
It's sexier if it's Bruce Davis.
It's sexier, and it does play into my web.
No, I know. I fucking saw that coming.
And what people say is, excuse me, listeners. What people say is that, well, it can't be Bruce Davis. He had long hair during the time this was happening. It couldn't have been him. Everything is described as short hair and light blonde hair and curly hair, blah blah.
Right.
But go back to the Zodiac's fucking letter. He said, I can't quote it right now, but he said, I don't look like me when I'm doing my thing.
Yeah.
Right? So how easy is it to fucking hide your hair, or slick it back or put a wig on or whatever.
Yeah.
We talked about wigs and all this shit with Son of Sam, and how hard would that be?
That's true.
So I think Bruce Davis, the visual of Bruce Davis not fitting the police sketches is bullshit.
Right.
I think that's not an easy way to discredit Bruce Davis as being possibly.
I'm getting a very strong whiff of like Agents of Chaos from your web.
Yeah, exactly.
Like feels like
and who was really
like these are assignments.
Who was promoting that shit?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm saying it's like
who was pushing?
There's this. Allow me here for a minute.
Yeah.
There's this show, BBC show called Sherlock, which is Sherlock Holmes, of course, but I'm saying it's one of the later renditions. It's by the Cumberbatch guy. He plays Sherlock.
Benedict
Cumberbatch. Thank you. I always forget.
I call him Benny Cucumbers.
That's good. It's better than his whole name. Anyway, and in the first episode, the very first season, he comes across this serial killer, right? And when he's finding out the motive, right, of why he's doing all this stuff, he's like, he has a sponsor, another criminal sponsors him to do killing however he wants. It's not like he's telling him what to do. He's just like giving him incentive to do all these killings. And the way the show made it sound like it was like the guy just wants to create chaos out there, so he kind of helps people along to kill. Not for him, but just to kill, create chaos, fuck things around.
Yeah.
And then,
wow.
Yeah. And now it turns out to be this big bad villain, but
this agent of chaos,
right?
Like you said.
That's
I love it.
Kind of reminds me of that.
Yes.
For
good reason, I think. I really do. I think for good reason.
No, yeah, I like the way you're thinking, but for me, it's still pretty strong on Lee Allen.
Lee Allen. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
But hey,
even though fingerprints, DNA, handwriting,
everything's circumstantial for both, really.
Out the window. Yeah, they are. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, good point. Point taken. They are. Both
and the funny thing is that what doesn't fit with Lee Allen is what things that would also fit for Lee Allen. Like it's just a circumstantial that it wouldn't be him as much as it would be circumstantial if it is him. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, it's hard.
Perplexing, man.
Yeah.
Yep. Wow.
Yep.
So you like the Zodiac episodes?
Oh yeah, totally dug it.
Great.
Totally dig it.
Anything else?
I'm gonna watch the movie.
I'm gonna go watch the movie too.
Yeah, you should. You'll really like it.
Yeah, no, I've seen it when
No, you really like it again.
Came out. Now that you
really
appreciate.
Yeah, you'll really fucking appreciate it
because I don't know if you mentioned this episode or the first Zodiac episode. They got so much right.
Yeah,
even the very end. You know,
even some stuff you mentioned in this part 2. I was thinking back on the movie, like, oh yeah, they did talk about that. Yeah, yes. They did the watch and the thing that the mother gave Lee Allen, and they mentioned all that. I think.
Yeah, and even all the way up to the very end. Spoiler. I'll give you 3 seconds to pause this right now. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. At the end of the Zodiac, when Jake Gyllenhaal walks into a hardware store,
right,
and he eyes the guy. Now that's Lee Allen, and in life, I think Lee Allen's last profession was hardware store purchaser. So he would purchase items for the hardware store.
Oh,
a purchasing agent,
like a vendor.
He would work with the vendors.
Okay, got it.
And purchase supplies and goods for the hardware store.
Oh, right, not a vendor. Right.
So that was real. And Jake Gyllenhaal playing that lone cop that's holding out and trying to get Alan finally after all these years. It's the last scene he walks into the hardware store and
a good
eyes.
Scene.
That is exactly ripped.
Well, the real last scene is actually that one victim that survived pulling him out of that driver's license photo, saying it's him. That's the real last scene, I believe.
Oh, that's right.
I believe that's the real last scene.
They're not flipped.
No,
I forgot.
No, but they're basically the last.
But they're both
two scenes.
in there.
They're the last 2 scenes for sure.
I mean, that's ripped right from the Zodiac case file. That's real. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So you're right. I got to go watch it again.
Yeah, you'll love it.
Listeners, we hope you enjoyed the show. Check us out on Patreon. We got some cool stuff coming up in the following months. And Oscar, take us home.
Will do. do you ever find like, okay, you say that meat tasted just like a peanut butter sandwich and jelly. Do you ever find that to be like distressing that you could taste something that shouldn't be like something else and be so accurate?
I don't think I've thought of it.
Like, isn't that unnatural?
We should talk about this.
Huh?
We should talk about this.
We are talking about this.
No, but on the show.
Oh, I am. I'm going to put it on the probably in the other cast.
Oh, I see. Let's talk about it in the front. I don't know what to talk about in the front.
Oh, that Dyer. I didn't know that. I was trying to create outtakes for you.